prêt. C'est à l'extérieur de Redmond. Mal frappé en direction de chance entre droit. L'on passe pour Overton. Et le victoire est sûr! Victoire des Expos 7-6.
The voice there of Rodger Brulotte reacting to a game-winning hit on opening day in 2002 for the Montreal Expos, that emphatic Orlando call. And the other voice on that clip was that of Denis Casavant, who was the play-by-play broadcaster for the Expos and colleague of Rodger Brulotte for Expos games between 1990 and 2004. The duo continued to work far beyond that at TVA Sport and other places. Mr. Casavant, Denis, welcome to the program this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Elias.
How you holding up?
Well, pretty good. I mean, Friday, of course, was the shocker. I mean, I'd gone to the hospital on last Wednesday, so I knew that he was in palliative care, so the prognostic wasn't very good. But to learn officially the news on Friday night was, it's always hard, even though you're expecting it.
Can you take me back to the first time you met Rodger? Maybe your first game working together. Can you take me back to that?
Well, it's actually funny because I worked with Rodger and Jacques Doucet on the radio broadcast. My first job was in 1986. They hired me to do the sort of the producer, engineer of the broadcast on radio, and also doing the out of town scores. So when they hired me, I was only 21 years old, and I met Jacques and Rodger on that day. And Jacques Doucet, introduces himself and, okay, if you need help, and I'll help you out and everything. And then Rodger says, "Oh, you're the new guy, or are you going to stick around, or are you going to be here just for 1 year and then leave like everybody else?" So that was his way of introducing himself. But I soon found out that was part of Rodger, that was his way of welcoming me. So
listen, I think for a lot, even for the CJAD listener, right? I think for a lot of us, we wanted to watch Expos games. Mm-hmm. That happened on RDS, right? That happened on French television, right? Like I say this, I learned French in part because I grew up watching the Expos on RDS with you and Rodger behind the microphones. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I think what actually helped our broadcast, and because we worked together on radio for 4 years, I was behind Jacques and Rodger for 4 years. So once we got together in 1990 to do the Expos games on RDS, we already had a pretty solid relationship. We traveled together. We were doing every game on radio, so that was 162 games a year. So I think that's why it clicked right away when we worked together on TV starting in 1990.
How do you describe what made Rodger so special, both behind the microphone and in other aspects of life?
Well, he was just natural. I mean, he was authentic. What you saw on TV, that's the Rodger you saw. I mean, you worked for the Expos. You've met Rodger besides the broadcast, on the field and in the offices, and he was always the same. I mean, it wasn't an act on TV. That was Rodger. That's the way he was. And he brought that colorful personality to the broadcast. And sometimes he would come up with all these ways of, celebrating home runs or great plays, and everything was improvised. Nothing was planned ahead of time. It just came off the top of his head. And I think that's why people enjoyed it, because it was very colorful and you never knew what he was going to say or how he was going to react. And I think that's what people enjoyed about his way of, he was truly a color commentator, which is the way we call it. We call it analyste en français, but he was really a color commentator on the broadcast.
And you're doing the play-by-play. You've got an emphatic, enthusiastic, bombastic color analyst next to you. How did that change how you did your job? Like, do you ever think about how you would, as they say, tee up a softball in order for him to provide those great calls?
Well, I knew, as soon as there was a big play or a home run, once I've called the home run, I would get out of the way because people were expecting, okay, here comes Rodger. What is he going to say? I mean, is it going to be Vladimir, Guerrero, or Walker? I mean, he always had a way of coming in. So people were expecting that. So I knew that, as soon as the play was done, get out of the way and let Rodger come in and do his stuff. So that's why it worked.
Is there a memory from the booth that you recall, Rua? I don't know if it's a game that the two of you called, one moment in a game that sticks out to you?
Well, the perfect game for sure. I mean, the Dennis Martinez perfect game was I mean, it's a highlight for us. You know, there's only 24 in the history of Major League Baseball, and to be at Dodger Stadium on a Sunday afternoon and to have a pitcher on the Montreal Expos throw a perfect game and to be able to call that game, I mean, that was the highlight, I think. And of course, we never got to finish 1994. I mean, we had some great moments with the Expos in 94, but the season ended. We did the last game in Pittsburgh before the strike. The players' strike started on, I believe it was August 11th. And then, of course, the last game at Olympic Stadium, the last game in Expo history in 2004.
Denny, I said it earlier in the show. This weekend I cried quite a bit. And I didn't know it would hit me the way it did hit me. And you know, obviously the loss of Rodger to me is someone like every time I'd go to an event, and you know, even after the Expos left, you go to an event, he comes up to you, he talks to you, right? Like he always spent a moment for me every single time.
That's right.
And of course, I'm affected by Rodger, but I also wonder if I was mourning the Expos as well this weekend.
Because people identified Rodger with the Expos. I mean, he was there pretty much from day one. I mean, he worked in every department of the Expos, from the scouting department to traveling secretary to the marketing department, eventually ending up on radio with Jacques Doucet and then on TV in 1990. So he was part of the Expos. I think that just brings back the memory that the Expos are gone now for over 20 years, and Rodger was still. You know, we still have some voices. We still have Jacques Doucet. We still have Claude Raymond. We still have Dave Van Horn that are associated with the Expos. But Rodger, of course, was a very big part of it.
A giant, right? He was a giant. Even in a cavernous Olympic stadium, he filled up the room. Okay, listen, Denis, you have to leave it there. I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning, reminiscing with us. It's great to talk to you.
Thanks, Elias. Have a good day.
Okay, that's Denis Casavant right there, longtime play-by-play broadcaster for the Expos, worked with Rodger Brulotte for so long.
Introducing Bryan Adams Radio on iHeartRadio. Hosted by Bryan Adams himself.
Join me for an insider look on a wild ride through 40 years of global rock and roll.
Bryan Adams Radio. Now available on the free iHeartRadio app. Or ask your smart speaker to play Bryan Adams Radio on iHeartRadio.
Who's ready to rock?
Kids wanna rock.